One particular individual came from the state of Maryland. And in doing so, he staked out a claim here in Colorado, and with pick in one hand and shovel in the other hand, he began digging. He dug for a few weeks, and the next thing you know, he found some gold. Now he knew, when he saw this vein of gold, he knew that he was not going to be able to properly extricate all of this gold with a simple pick and a shovel. He knew he was going to need more than that. So he covered up the claim. He covered up all of the dirt, all of the gold, and he went back home to Maryland. And when he got back home to Maryland, he looked for investors. So he started talking to friends and family, people that would give him money, and he also wanted people to come back with him to help him extricate this gold, to dig this gold out of the mountain. He came back to Colorado, money in hand, and with his nephew, and together they began digging for this gold that he had already found. They took the money and they bought drilling equipment, and they bought an ore cart, and they bought the materials to lay tracks into the mine. They bought all this equipment, dynamite, so they could blast. They did all of this work so they could get this gold out of the mine. They got about 2 cart worths of gold out of this mine. And then the next thing you know, this vein of gold that they were digging out started to get narrower and narrower and narrower, and there was less and less. That didn't dissuade them. It didn't stop them. They knew that there had to be more gold. So they kept digging, and they kept digging. And days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. And there was no gold. They couldn't find any more. So they thought they better cut their losses. They thought, you know what, maybe we better just stop right here, and we'll just cut our losses, and we'll go back home. So they contacted a local junk dealer from in town, and they told him, they said, hey, look, we'll sell you all of our equipment and our claim. And so the junk dealer bought it for pennies on the dollar. And these 2 guys went back home to Maryland. Now the junk dealer knew these guys, right? He'd spent time in the area. He knew who they were. And he knew that basically those were just 2 guys digging a hole in the ground. That they weren't necessarily miners. They didn't have an education in mining. And the junk dealer knew that he didn't either. But he thought, you know what, maybe there's something to this mine. So he hired a mining engineer to go take a look at the mine. The mining engineer went out and he took a look at the mine, and he looked at the geographic characteristics of the ground, he looked at the geological aspects, he looked at the fissures, the way the fault lines moved inside the ground, and he generated up a report, and he sent that report to the junk dealer. Now the junk dealer read the report, he opened it up, and it said, I've conducted my analysis of your mine, and I have determined that if you will continue digging in this direction, in this particular shaft, that in about 3 feet, you'll get gold. So what do you think the guy did? He dug up some gold, right? 3 feet. He had to dig 3 feet and he hit gold. He dug that 3 feet and he hit the gold, and he became a multimillionaire.